So, okay, quick question. Can you see the chessboard?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Mute. Okay, you can hear me and you can see the chessboard, everyone, right? Okay, so,
Yes,
okay,
ma'am.
please put on mute. Okay. So now this is the position. First, I would be the one who is teaching. Okay. Later on, whenever I can speak and answer. Okay. So this is the position they have given us. Okay. And here they are saying white to play. Okay. So white has to play here and white has to checkmate the black king. Okay. First, let's understand. We are white. Okay. If we are playing white, then our opponent would obviously be black. Okay. So இதுல white விளையாடி black வந்து checkmate பண்ணனும் சொல்லிருக்காங்க and ஒரு மூல வந்து checkmate பண்ணனும். Okay. So நம்ம whiteனா நம்ம opponent வந்து black தான் இருப்பாங்க. So that is the first point. And then the first thing you have to note when I give you this puzzle, you would not understand anything. Okay. That's why we have to frame questions. We have to start diluting the situation with questions. Okay. ஒரு puzzle கொடுத்துட்டாங்கன்னா ஒண்ணுமே நீங்க question கேட்க ஆரம்பிக்க நம்ம டார்கெட்ட நோக்கி நம்ம போவோம். Okay. So I said we have to ask questions so that we go towards the target. Okay. If not, it would be like you won't understand anything in that. Okay. So here, the first question. Okay. Playing white, our opponent is black. And to which piece we would checkmate? Only the king, because king is the most important piece. If king is checkmated, the game ends. That's how we learned, right? That's how the game is. Okay. So even without a queen, you can still continue. But when your king is under attack, you have to make sure your king is protected. If you cannot protect your king, then that is checkmate. Okay. Now the same thing we have to do. We have to give checkmate to our opponent. And that too in one move. Okay. So first I would see is where is the target? Where is the opponent's king? You have to know that. So the first question would be, where is the opponent's king? You have to name the square. You have to know it well. So this is where the opponent's king is because we are playing white. Opponent's king is in G8. Okay, G8. Now, let's know more about the opponent. Okay, so how does a king move? King can move only one step, and that step must be safe. Okay, there must not be attack on that one square where the king moves. Okay, so this is the king. And can he move here safely? See, all that you have to do is one step around the king. Okay, so here, 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 here. This generally move. Now let's check which squares are safe. Okay, this is a safe square. I'm putting it green. This is a safe square. This is not the safe square because queen is controlling these three squares. From here, from queen, which is being on C7, it is controlling all the three. Okay, and then king is also controlling these two squares. Okay, now what it means, even if the queen moves away, okay, still the king will be controlling these two squares, and then the opponent these squares. Okay, so I'll tell it in Tamil. So king inga irkaru, ஒரு step சுத்தி எல்லா டைரக்ஷன்லயும் போவாரு, ஒரு ஸ்டெப் தான் வைக்க முடியும். அண்ட் அந்த ஸ்டெப் வந்து சேஃபா இருக்கணும். இந்த ரெண்டு ஸ்கொயர்ஸ் வந்து சேஃபா இருக்கு. இந்த மூணு ஸ்கொயர் ஏன்னா குயின், நம்மளோட குயின், ஓகே, இந்த மூணு லைக் ஸ்கொயர்ஸையும் கண்ட்ரோல் பண்றோம். அதனால நம்ம ஆப்போனண்டால இங்க வர முடியாது. அடிஷ்னலா நம்மளோட கிங் வந்து இந்த 2 ஸ்கொயர்ஸையும் கண்ட்ரோல் பண்றாரு. சோ அதனால வந்து இந்த கிங் ஆப்போனண்டால இந்த இடத்துக்கு வர முடியாது. நம்ம குவீனை நகர்த்திட்டா கூட இந்த 2 ஸ்கொயர்ஸோட கண்ட்ரோல் கிங் பண்ணிட்டு தான் இருப்பாரு. So this is what I said. Okay. Now, how do we give a checkmate here? There is one possibility of check here. Check means what? Attacking the king. So if I put the c8, queen, if I put the queen to c8, then the queen on c8 is attacking the king. Attack to the king, we call it check. Okay, queen on c8, if I make that move, that would be a check. From c7, the queen is controlling h7. Okay, other 2 squares, king is controlling. Anyway, he cannot come. If the queen is on c7, he would be controlling h7. So king cannot escape here like this. But the moment I take it to 8th rank, square will become free. Okay, so queen வந்து 7th rankல இருக்கும் வரை அது வந்து h7 control பண்றது. அது நான் 8th rank எடுத்துட்டு போயிட்டேன்னா this square will become free and then the king can easily move and escape. Check. If our opponent could escape, that is not checkmate in one move. So what is checkmate then? For our check, he should not escape. What are the ways to escape? Move away, block with another piece, or capture. Not be able to do all these 3 things. So நம்ம கொடுக்கிற செக்குக்கு ஆப்போனன்ட் வந்து சேஃபா மூவ் ஆகியோ அப்படி எஸ்கேப் ஆயிட்டாருன்னா வந்து அது செக்மேட் கிடையாது. அதுவும் செக்மேட் ஒரு மூல கிடையாது. சோ செக்மேட்னா நம்ம கொடுக்கிற செக்குக்கு அவரால எஸ்கேப் ஆக முடியக்கூடாது. not escape. Okay. And escape-னா என்ன? மூவ் பண்ணி எஸ்கேப் ஆகக்கூடாது, பிளாக் பண்ணி எஸ்கேப் ஆகக்கூடாது, கேப்சர் பண்ணக்கூடாது. நம்மளோட பீஸ் நம்ம எந்த பீஸ் வச்சு அட்டாக் பண்றோமோ அந்த பீஸை கேப்சர் பண்ணக்கூடாது. So now what is the next way? So now this is one way of giving a check. So queen to c8 would be a check. Or you can put the queen here to c4 and then you can give a diagonal check. Okay, so when the queen comes to c4, if you make that move, but still the king can escape here. Still the king can escape here, it can escape here, it can also escape here because these 3 are not controlled. Of course, these 2 squares are controlled by the king. Other squares are free, right? So when our opponent can escape, the game continues and it is not checkmate. Okay, so one option, we saw this, it is not checkmate. Second option, we saw this is not checkmate. Okay, so now what else can we do? So we learn king cannot capture a supported piece. If a piece is getting support from another piece, the opponent king cannot capture it. Okay, so now I'm and with the support of the king, okay, our king is here. With the king's support, where does this king support? One step around, okay, these squares. He cannot go to these squares. The black king cannot go to these squares, but still these squares, so he can give support. Okay, so now if I put the queen here, now what happens? This is a check. First there is a check. The king cannot escape here, it cannot escape here, it cannot escape here, it cannot escape here. Okay, now block this check? No. Black has no other piece or no squares to block this check. Now, can I capture the attacker? Can you please be on mute? Let me finish and then I'll come to your doubt, okay? So now, can the king capture the... No, because the attacker is getting support from the king. This king cannot come to a square where the opponent is controlling. White king is still controlling the square. Okay? It is giving support to the queen, but it also has control over g7. Seven is under white's control. So that is the reason the king cannot capture the queen. Okay, so now this is checkmate. So what are the rules of checkmate? First, there must be a check. And then the king cannot move and escape. King or the black player cannot, or the black king cannot capture, or any other black piece, if other pieces were there too, it could not capture the attacker. So this is checkmate. This is how a game ends. Okay, so now I'll do one more thing so you would understand. Okay, now if this, you would simply not understand anything. Now let's go with the question. First question, where is the black king? Because they say we are playing white here. Okay, so where is the black king? Black king is here. Now let's learn more about the black king. It can go here freely. It can also go here because the pawn and not the square. Okay, our white queen is attacking this pawn and not this square. Okay, so these are the two squares it can move. Can it move here? Any attack? Diagonally, no. So it can also move here. Now we have to control all these three. Let's come to the white. What do we have? We have a queen, okay, which is attacking this pawn, and it is backed by the bishop. Okay, so now how do I give a check? I give a check like this. Now what happens? He cannot escape. He cannot capture the queen because the bishop is supporting. Okay, so this is how we find checkmate in one. It's very easy because it is just a check. Okay, and to that check, cannot do anything. So you can give check in any possible ways in that position. But you have to think, if I give this check, will he escape? If he is going to escape, then you are not winning the game. Okay, then if I give a check like this, will he escape? Will he escape? Now you find if I give a check like this, he cannot escape. He cannot move and escape. He cannot block and escape. He cannot capture and escape. The same move, block, capture. If we are the attacker, we would think if he can move and he can block and escape, if he can capture and escape. The same thing, if your king is under check, you need to think, can I move and escape? Can I block this check and escape? Can I, if our king is under attack, right? Can I capture the attacker and escape? But the way of thinking is different. Okay, so ஒரே கான்செப்ட் தான். நான் மூவ் பண்ணி எஸ்கேப் ஆலாமா, பிளாக் பண்ணி எஸ்கேப் ஆலாமா, இந்த அட்டாக்க கேப்சர் பண்ணி எஸ்கேப் ஆலாமா? நீங்க வந்து அட்டாக், உங்க பீஸ் அட்டாக்ல இருந்தா நீங்க அப்படி திங்க் பண்ணுவீங்க. இதே உங்க ஆப்போனன்ட் கிங்க நீங்க அட்டாக் பண்ண போறீங்க அப்படின்னா அந்த செக் நீங்க வைக்கும்போது நீங்க இந்த செக்குக்கு அவன் மூவ் பண்ணி எஸ்கேப் ஆயிருவானா? அச்சோ, அவன் மூவ் பண்ணி எஸ்கேப் ஆனா வந்து கேம் கண்டினியூ ஆகும், நான் வின் பண்ண முடியாது. கரெக்டா? கேம் அப்புறமா எப்படி வேணா மாறலாம். ஓகே, அவன் பிளாக் பண்ணி எஸ்கேப் ஆனா கேம் கண்டினியூ ஆகும். அவன் கேப்சர் பண்ணி எஸ்கேப் ஆனா கேம் கண்டினியூ ஆகும். ஸோ அவன் மூவும் பண்ணக்கூடாது, பண்ணக்கூடாது. அந்த மாதிரி செக் எந்த செக் அப்படின்னு நீங்க கண்டுபிடிச்சு அந்த மூவ் வச்சீங்கன்னா that becomes checkmate and you win the game. Okay, so now who was that? Any doubt here? Someone was asking me something. Hello, am I audible?
Yes,
Can we
ma'am.
continue?
Yes, ma'am.
What is your doubt, Sarah?
No, ma'am.
Okay, then see, we will go in this order, okay? I will definitely ask everyone. I'm just telling you. Okay. Start with Dakshiv, and then each one of you is going to do a puzzle. Okay, one checkmate, okay? Others, I want you to completely focus and listen, okay? Listen to my answers, both. So only when you listen to the questions, you would get some path. Okay, questions are the light. It's a kind of guiding light. If you don't have questions, then you don't know what's happening in the board. You will start guessing, 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 guessing. You will not narrow it down and you will simply waste time. So எப்பயுமே questions தான் வந்து ஒண்ணுமே தெரியாத ஒரு இதுல questions மட்டும்தான் help பண்ணும். ஆன்சர்ஸ் கண்டிப்பா இருக்கு. நீங்க கரெக்டான கேள்விகள் கேட்டீங்கன்னா நீங்க கரெக்டான பாத்ல क्वेश्चन கேட்கும்போது வந்து கரெக்டான டெஸ்டினேஷன் ரீச் பண்ண முடியும். இல்லனா வந்து சுத்திண்டே தான் இருக்கணும், டைம் வேஸ்ட் பண்ணிட்டே தான் இருக்கணும். Okay, so I hope everyone understood the same thing which I told in English. So now just give me a second. I will we'll start from Dakshiv, but just give me a second so that I don't need to switch on tabs. Note the names. Okay, Dakshiv, answer to my questions quick. Okay, so we are playing white here. Are you there, Dakshiv? Hello.
Good evening, ma'am.
You are there, right? So please answer immediately because we don't have much time to waste here. Okay, so okay, Dakshiv, now you have to, so we are playing white here in this game. Where is our opponent? An opponent has only one piece. Where is that piece? Hello. I couldn't hear you. Okay, Dakshiv, be on mute. We'll go with Isha. Find me, I will ask you, Dakshiv, okay? Okay, Isha, now where is the opponent's king?
The opponent's king is on A8.
Okay, you don't need to frame sentences. Just tell the name, square name.
King on A8.
King?
King on A8.
Yes, you have to tell king A8. Now tell me where this king A8 can move safely.
King A8 can move to A7, B7.
Wait.
B.
Can it move to A7? What is the rule? King cannot move to a square which is controlled by the opponent. So king cannot move here. Okay, king cannot move to B7. Now where can it move freely?
It can move to B8.
So the only square it can.
B8.
Okay, now this is very simple to solve. Now all you have to do is to give a check and then the king should not be able to move here. So what is the move?
Move the queen to move the queen to G3. Move the queen to G3.
G3. So what did we just learn? We just learned The king cannot come anywhere in 7th rank because these are the two squares. But it is not safe. He cannot come. Now all that he can move is here. Now you have to give a check and make sure this square is controlled. There is a check to the king. Can you try again? G3 is a dark square. You cannot give a diagonal check to the square because queen, if it is doing a bishop's job, okay, like diagonal thing, it acts like a bishop, right? So a dark square bishop can move only dark square. Okay, so a queen diagonally can square, but it is not giving check. So can you find some other check? This is not a check, Isha.
Move the queen to E8.
Yes. So E8 is the answer because he cannot go. This is the only square in the 8th rank. Now the queen controls entire 8th rank. Now he cannot escape here. This is a check. He cannot move anywhere and escape. Block and capture is not possible here. And there is a check. First point is there is a check. And then he cannot escape. This is check. So the next person is okay, Aldrin. So Aldrin, are you there? Quickly.
Yes, ma'am.
Now tell me, where is the opponent's king? We are playing white here. We are playing white. Opponent is black. Where is the black king? I want fast answers. We did it last time, right?
F8.
F8. There is no king in F8. So that is F6.
F6.
Okay. So now you tell me, which are the safe squares here?
Ma'am.
Mm.
E5.
Just tell them. E5, is it safe?
Yes,
Okay, then what else? Which square? Now you find, is this rook supported?
E6.
E6 is not safe. Okay, if we can do this. The rook is controlling here. Everyone listen. In this position, our rook is controlling these squares. So our opponent cannot come to these squares. Okay. Rook is doing a very good job. It is controlling 1, 2, 3, 4, all these squares. And it is making our opponent not to escape to these squares. Okay. So be on mute, Aldrin. I'll ask you back. Okay. Okay, so listen everyone, listen carefully. So this rook is controlling these squares. So our king cannot. Our bishop is controlling these two squares. So the king, opponent cannot come here. Okay, the only square which is safe is this square. And whenever you find a piece immediately next to the king, you have to is supported or not. If the piece is having a support, then the king cannot capture it. If the piece is alone and not supported, Okay, if the piece is alone, okay, without any support, the king can capture. Okay, so now there are two possibilities for this black king, which is on f6. It can move here to e5, or it can capture the rook in g7. So this is all depending on the white's move, because now it's white's turn to play. Okay, என்னன்னா வந்து கிங் வந்து சேஃபான ஸ்கொயருக்கு மூவ் பண்ணுவாரு. அதே போல கிங்குக்கு இம்மீடியட்டா பக்கத்துல இருக்கிற ஸ்கொயர்ஸ்ல ஆப்போனன்ட்டோட பீஸ் இருந்தா அவர் அதை வந்து கேப்சர் பண்ண முடியும். எப்ப கேப்சர் பண்ண முடியும்னா அந்த பீஸ்க்கு சப்போர்ட் இல்லாம கேப்சர் பண்ணலாம். ஓகேவா? கிங் வந்து அன்சப்போர்ட்டட் பீஸ கேப்சர் பண்ணலாம், சப்போர்ட்டட் பீஸ கேப்சர் பண்ண முடியாது. ஓகே, இப்ப இந்த ரூக் வந்து பெரிய வேலை பண்றது, நல்ல வேலை பண்றது, இந்த இடத்துல எல்லாம் கிங் வர விடாம பண்றது. ஆனா அதுக்கு சப்போர்ட் இல்ல. வந்து ரெண்டு ஆப்ஷன் இருக்கு. ஈதர் இங்க வரலாம், இல்லைன்னா இந்த ரூக்க கேப்சர் பண்ணலாம். Okay, so now we have to play white and give checkmate in one move. Okay, so the rook is doing the job, the bishop is doing the job, all you have is queen. Okay, so we need to give a check. And one more thing, when we give the check, he should not escape here, he should not capture the rook. Okay, so we give a check, he should not escape to e5, he should not capture the. So if you see the geometry of the board, it's diagonal. Okay, now Aldrin, can you answer how do we give a check here? So these are
D4.
yes, queen to d4. Now he cannot escape anywhere, we saw. Okay, all these squares are controlled by the rook and bishop. Now he cannot escape. Earlier he could have moved here, but now he cannot move because of the queen. Now he cannot capture the rook because queen still has control. Even if he can, he will be still under the queen's control, and that would be illegal. It is not possible. So this is the answer. Okay, be on mute. Next. Magir. So Magir, we are playing white. Where is the opponent?
Black.
Name means name the square immediately.
Ma'am, black in H8, ma'am.
Okay, black king is in H8. Now tell me, where can this king move? Is it
G8.
two squares?
G8. G8. G7.
Yeah, both are safe. Okay. Now, how do you give a check? What pieces do you have? You just have a queen. With queen, you cannot give a check. Okay. So now quickly tell me what is the.
Yeah. Ma'am, ma'am, white queen. F8, ma'am.
Okay, very good. Be on mute. Mute paniko. Okay, very good. So white queen to F8. Okay. So the queen is giving. There must be a check. Now earlier king could have moved to these two squares. Okay. Munadi king alinga nagara mudiyum. Ipo mudiyadu. Because now king cannot move to these two squares and escape because the queen is controlling. So the king is under check. King cannot move and escape. There is no way to block. There is no way to capture the queen. And then the game ends here. White wins the game. Black lost the game. Okay, so you cannot take the king away and put it outside the board. You cannot capture the king in chess. Okay, so all that you can do is to give a check, for which if the game continues. You give a check like this and he cannot escape, the game ends there. After, if you are playing white, after you make this move, after you put your queen to f8, you have to get up and tell arbiter that white wins the game. Okay, or if you are black, white wins the game. You don't need to worry, your opponent will do the job if he wins. Okay, so next, Kanya, are you there?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, Kanya, now we are playing white. Okay,
Okay.
opponent's king.
Go to F4.
Wait, I'm not asking you to give a check. Understand my question. Where is the opponent's king? You have to know that first. ஆப்போனன்ட்டோட கிங் எங்க இருக்காரு? எந்த ஸ்கொயர்ல இருக்காரு?
G2.
G2 ல ஆப்போனன்ட் இருக்காரு. நம்ம white விளையாடணும்னு சொல்றோம். We are playing white. This is our king. We are white. நம்ம
Okay.
tell me where is our opponent's king? Where is the black king?
B8. B8.
Yes, B8 is where the opponent is. Now tell me, this king move freely. Save square for this king.
B7.
Okay, he can move to B7. Then, can he move anywhere else?
A7.
A7, you have to check if there is an attack on A. Controlling A7. So our queen, since white queen is controlling A7, the black cannot move here. Okay, so A7 is not possible. Only to B7 and
C7.
yes. So these are the two squares. How can we give a check? Listen to me carefully. The first thing you have to give a squares. All we have is a queen. So use the queen, give a check.
Yes.
So it should give check to the king. It should control A7. It should control
F4.
B7.
F4.
So queen எங்க போட்டா அந்த மாதிரி control ஆகும் மூணு ஸ்கொயர்ஸும்.
F4.
F4 will be just a check. King can அப்ப இங்க இருக்கிற control போயிரும். The control from A7, like queen is here, it is controlling A7. The moment queen moves here, this control will go away. So the king can escape here or he can escape here. That is not a checkmate. How else can you give a check?
The king to E8.
Queen to E8 is not even a check. We are not attacking the king. The rook will come and capture it. So that is not the answer. What else do we do?
E7.
So it should give a check. E7 again. E7, right? The square. Are you giving check to the king? From here, will the queen attack the king?
No.
No. So that is not a check.
B8. B7.
Okay, so this is how we guess. Okay, and if we start guessing, we can guess unlimitedly. Okay, I'm not blaming you. I'll teach you how to do this. Okay, I'm just giving an example. Okay, so now let's understand the king has, and this square has to get controlled. This square has to get controlled. So which piece can do this? Which piece? Now, Kanya, tell me which piece can go straight and also diagonal at the same time.
Queen.
So now the queen has to give check straight. Okay, wait. Now queen has to give a straight check to the king and it has to control diagonally. So these two squares must be controlled diagonally and this square, the king must be under check straight. So where will you place the queen so that it, so the attack I'll draw here, it must be this way. எந்த இடத்துல குயினை வச்சா கிங்குக்கு ஸ்ட்ரைட்டா செக் கொடுக்கும், இந்த சைடு இப்படி கண்ட்ரோல் பண்ணும், இந்த சைடு இது கண்ட்ரோல் பண்ணும், அந்த ஸ்கொயர் கண்டுபிடி. D6 is the answer. Okay, this is checkmate. Okay, because the queen is giving a check, it is controlling here, it's controlling here, and it's also controlling here. Now king has no options to escape, so this is checkmate. புரிஞ்சுதா?
புரிஞ்சுது.
Next, Janvi, are you there? Janvi?
Yeah.
Okay, quickly answer this. So where is the opponent's king?
H6.
H6. Now where can this king move?
It can move. It can move.
Okay, so can it move to this square safely? The king, this king, opponent's king?
Yes. Yes.
Check, what do we control? Now tell me if it can move or not. Okay, one point to everyone. If you are struggling to find if you can move to that square, now first question, let's ask like this. The opponent is here. Okay, then our queen is, this pawn is controlling here. Now you get an idea. Now tell me if the black king can move safely here to g7.
No.
Black king cannot move here. Now can it move here? So this you have to quickly in your mind. Okay, is this safe? Yes or no?
Yes.
This is not safe. This is safe. And this square, is it safe? No.
No.
Okay, so pawn is doing the job of controlling here. Queen is also controlling here. Even if the queen moves away to some other, be controlling here. Okay, so now how do we give a check? Okay, so now you have to understand one thing. When you give a check, you have to control all these three squares and this square and then give a check. So which you can do it with the support. So what would be the answer? I gave, should control, you should give check to the king and control all these squares. How do we do it? It's very simple.
F.
And there is a rule which says F.
F6.
Now F6, what happens? From F to the square. He will escape here.
Yeah.
And then the queen will come and capture. If our queen, the attacker, gets captured,
Oh.
then we lose the queen. That is not checkmate. Where else do you put the queen? You have to, okay, listen to me. You have to understand the geometry of the board, okay? So now the attack should be there. All these squares must be controlled. Okay, then queen to answer, because queen is a supported piece, pawn is giving the support. Okay, so king cannot escape here. King cannot capture the queen because it is supported. This is checkmate. Understood?
Yeah.
So the more exercise we do, get used of it. And more than this, all, everyone listen, there are many concepts. Okay, pin, skewer, double attack, the fork, everything will be applied. So each concept we will teach you separately, and then you will get mate in one puzzle based on that concept. Castle, all these and pass. Okay, so there might be a mate in one which you can find in the, if you just castle, it ends the game. If you just do the fork, it ends the game. Okay, so like that, there are many concepts. So understand these basic things. Know to identify these basic checkmates right now. Okay, so there are chess is like ocean to learn. Only then you would become a strong player. So those who are very serious into becoming a strong player, you have to seriously work hard on it. If I give you some homework, please finish it. And in future classes, if the coach gives you homework, just finish it. Okay, you would get all these things subconsciously. If there is no practice at your end, let's go to the next person. Kavinaya, are you there?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so the opponent king is here. Okay, so he can move these two squares. Now you have to control this square. Give a check, that should end the game. Checkmate in one, white to play.
Ma'am, can we keep queen G7, ma'am?
You should not ask with question. Now you,
நீ ஆன்சர் பண்ணணும். கொஸ்டினே கேட்க கூடாது.
what will happen if you put the queen to G7?
It
Lovely
finished.
Kanto. So you tell now, what will happen if you put the queen to G7?
It's
Because in
checkmate.
tournament I won't be there next to you, right? So now that is checkmate, obviously, because these are the rules. King cannot, there is a check, king cannot move, he cannot block, they cannot capture, because the queen is supported. Very good. Next, Nagulan.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so the king is here to the green. So these two squares, these three squares, he cannot move because the king is controlling. Now how do you give a checkmate? So easy thing to note here, everyone, is, everyone listen, 7th rank is fully controlled. At least இந்த கிங் படி பார்த்தா இந்த 3 ஸ்கொயர் மூவ் பண்ணலாம். அந்த 3 ஸ்கொயருமே இந்த கிங் கண்ட்ரோல் பண்றது. அதனால இந்த கிங்குக்கு 7th rankல என்ட்ரி கிடையாது. All you have to do is to give a 8th rank check. How do you do it, Nagulan? இருக்கியா? Are you there?
Yes, ma'am.
7th rank is controlled. Now you give a check in the 8th rank. You have only one piece, which is queen. So what is the answer? It's very easy.
B8, ma'am.
Queen to b8 is the answer. That's it. Okay. So now he cannot move to these two squares. He cannot come here and escape. So inga escape ஆகிறதுக்கு வழி இல்ல. Okay. So like that, you okay, it's more dynamic. Okay. ஆனா நீங்க பண்ண you will get it. So as long as you keep practicing, all these things will register subconsciously in your mind, and then you will start solving faster. Okay. But there should be practice. There must be practice. If not, you will forget everything. Next, Kashvi, can you try this? Kashvi, are you there?
Ma'am.
Okay, so now Kashvi, we are okay. Listen to me carefully, and I. Okay, so we are playing white. Our opponent's king. Where is he? Which square?
Ma'am, he is in A7, ma'am.
Okay, so now what pieces do we have?
We have A6.
As white. Wait. What pieces? Name the pieces we have. A king and a queen. Okay, so now which square this king is controlling?
Ma'am, it is control.
Our king. It's controlling
B7.
B7.
C6.
It's easy. B6 and then B8. Okay, so these are the, everyone listen. Okay, so these are the three squares this king is controlling. Okay, so now job, where can the black king move? As long as the queen is here, he cannot move here. If the queen moves away somewhere, then he would be able to move here. இது நல்லா ஞாபகம் வச்சுக்கோங்க. குயின் இங்க இருக்கும் வரை அதால வந்து A6 போக முடியாது கிங்கால. பட் அப்படின்னா வந்து இந்த இடம் ஃப்ரீ ஆயிரும், அவரால போக முடியும், பிளாக் கிங்கால போக முடியும். So this you should always remember. Okay, so now you tell me, this is the one square where this king can move, but now it is also controlled. Okay, so here the king is taking. Now how do you give a check here? You have to still control these two squares and give a check. Now there is no check. Currently there is no check. Where will you put the queen?
To B7, ma'am.
Very good. So to B7, now what happened? King is under check. He cannot escape to these, any of these squares. Cannot capture the attacker because the attacker is supported by the king, white king. Okay. Be on mute. Next. Piyush.
Ma'am.
Okay, so Piyush, where is the black king?
Ma'am, H3.
Now tell, which pieces do we have?
King and queen, ma'am.
Okay, a king which is on F4, it is controlling these two squares, and then the queen, it is controlling this square. Okay, now tell me for the, which is the safe place to go?
Ma'am, H2 and H4, ma'am.
Now you have to give a check and make sure, okay, there are certain things you have to consider. Listen to me carefully. Okay, first there should be a check to this king. He cannot escape here. Okay, now we saw the queen is controlling this square, but this control should not go. Queen should control here, 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 and also give check to the king. What is the move? What is that queen move? A queen move which gives a check and controls this H file. Listen, controls the H file and also should signal. Where should you place the queen? Only then he cannot escape. Okay, now Piyush, tell me, how does a queen move?
Ma'am, diagonally and
Basic question.
the plus
How does
sign,
a
ma'am.
queen move? And also,
Plus sign, ma'am.
only like a rook. Queen can only move like a rook. It
Not only rook, ma'am.
bishop. Only rook. Queen
No,
can move
ma'am.
like a rook and also it can move like a rook and also
bishop
like
also,
a bishop.
ma'am.
That is the reason like a bishop. Okay. Now, where do you place the queen? From a place, it should control these three squares and it should control here. Which is that place? Now check if the queen moves like a bishop and gives a check, or give a check. All these squares must be controlled. You can do that quickly. It's easy. Can you all take this as homework? Okay, I'll give this as homework. You want to answer, Piyush? Okay,
Ma'am, எனக்கு question கேட்கல, ma'am.
when everyone can reply me personally. Okay, please don't send the answer in the group because everyone has to try on their own. If you find the answer, who's that?
Ma'am, ma'am.
Hmm?
Ma'am, question கேட்கல, ma'am. Ma'am,
I have taken this
Question.
Okay, I'll send it in.
Question கொஞ்சம் தமிழ்ல repeat பண்ணுங்க மேம்.
Want me to repeat? So, okay, I'll give this as homework, but don't tell answer here, okay? You can send it to me later. So, king இங்க மூணு ஸ்கொயருக்கு எஸ்கேப் ஆக முடியாதபடி we have to give a check. அது எந்த check? queen எங்க போட்டா இந்த 3 squares control ஆகும்னு கேட்டேன். Take this as homework. Okay, I'll repeat it in English. The king is here. These two squares, it should not move. Okay. Should also not go. Okay, if you remove the queen out of this place, g2 control will go. But if you move to a square particularly, then from that square, queen controls g2, queen controls h2, queen also controls h.
Ma'am, can I answer?
Is check to the king. Okay,
Ma'am,
so you
can I answer?
no one is going to answer here. I'll move to the next game. Now Piyush, do this.
Ma'am, we should take the queen to b3, ma'am.
Who answered it? Sarah, I didn't ask you a question, right?
Ma'am,
you be on mute, Sarah. I was asking Piyush can you answer this?
Yes, ma'am.
Piyush, answer this.
Ma'am, we should take
Wait.
the queen to.
Wait. We'll take the next thing. Now answer for this, Piyush. Quickly.
Ma'am, to B6, ma'am. Ma'am, queen to B6, ma'am.
Queen to B6, knight will capture.
Ma'am, the king is supporting, ma'am.
King is supporting, that is all fine. Knight will, and then the black will escape. For this knight, B6 is the landing square. So, who is answering me actually now? Piyush,
Ma'am,
right?
Piyush.
Now how else can you give a check? All that you have to understand is this king is controlling these two squares. Now you have to control these three squares and give a check. These squares, king will take care. These two, king will not make this king move here. If you give a check here, knight will come and capture the queen. When knight captures the is out of check, and then the game will continue. That is not checkmate. Now, where should you put the queen so that you control all these three squares and give a check? This square also. Very easy. So you have to control and also B7. Where should you put the queen? How do you give a file check? From where you will give a file check? It's very easy. If you have to give a check in a file, in which square you will give a check to this king?
Ma'am, queen to A7, ma'am.
A7. Okay, in A7, does the queen have any support? Is anyone?
No, ma'am.
So you have to give a check here. Now what happened? You are controlling all these squares, and this square diagonally, this square is also taken care. These two squares are taken care. Controlling these two squares. Queen is giving a check. Now queen is not allowing the king to move anywhere in a file, and queen is also controlling this square. You got it, Piyush?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So we'll go to the next person. Okay. Vibhav, இதுக்கு answer பண்றியா? After Vibhav.
Ma'am.
After Vibhav, Shanvika will answer, then Sara, then Saicharan.
எங்க opponent king இருக்கு?
Left, right? So now Vibhav, now இப்ப நீ சொல்லு opponent ஓட king எங்க இருக்காரு? நம்ம white விளையாடுறோம். We are playing white. Where is the opponent's king?
சொல்லு.
Opponent king is H6.
Square name மட்டும் சொன்னா கூட ஓகே தான். எங்க இருக்காரு? அதான் முக்கியம். H6. Okay, இப்ப நம்மளுக்கு என்னென்ன pieces இருக்கு? What pieces do we have?
என்னென்ன pieces இருக்கு சொல்லு.
நீயே சொல்லு. அம்மா சொல்லணும்னு அவசியம் இல்ல. நான் தான் சொல்றேன்.
Queen, king.
Queen இருக்கு, வேற என்ன இருக்கு? King இருக்கு. So இந்த queen வந்து எந்த squares control பண்ணுது? Okay, now I'll put a in the 4 squares la which square this queen is controlling?
G5.
These G5. So G5, the queen is controlling. So in the king cannot come here. Now, who is controlling this square? Can the king move safely here? In the king ala G6 safe move பண்ண முடியுமா?
No, ma'am.
சீக்கிரம் பார்த்து சொல்லு. Yes or no?
சொல்லு சத்தமா சொல்லு.
No, ma'am.
No. In the square safe G7.
ஏன் no?
Now you check soon.
Yes,
G7 no, H5 no. This is safe. I'm putting it green. This square safe or not?
Yes, safe.
Yeah. Now, நீ இந்த queen வச்சு you have to give a check. Okay வா? அந்த check கொடுக்கும்போது பண்ணிட்டோம்னா இந்த ஸ்கொயரோட கண்ட்ரோல் போயிடும். இப்ப இந்த டயகனல்ல இருக்கும்போது மட்டும்தான் இத கண்ட்ரோல் பண்ணும். So everyone listen, only when the queen is in this diagonal, it will control G5. If it moves away from this diagonal, they control on G5. Okay, but losing this control is not a problem because king is controlling. சரியா, இந்த டயகனல்ல இருக்கும் வரைதான் வந்து குயின் இங்க கண்ட்ரோல் பண்ணும். இந்த டயகனலை விட்டு வெளில போச்சுன்னா வந்து இந்த கண்ட்ரோல் போயிடும். ஆனா இந்த பொசிஷன்ல கிங்கும் இந்த ஸ்கொயரை உங்களுக்கு பிரச்சனை இல்ல. Since king is also controlling here, our opponent cannot come here. Okay, so now you have to control these squares and give a check. So how do we give a check here? I'll give you a clue. King cannot capture a supported piece. Opponent ala supported piece capture பண்ண முடியாது. Now tell me the answer. How do we give a check?
ஒண்ணுதான் கேக்குறா விவோ.
queen எங்க மூவ் பண்ணனும் சொல்லு. so that எங்க பார்த்தாலும் செக் ஆகும். அதுக்கு சொல்லு.
G5.
check ஆகும் நீ தோன்றது. Very good. So queen to G5. Yes, queen to G5 is checkmate because queen is giving a check. King cannot escape here. It cannot escape to all these squares. Good. Answer this. Are you there?
Yes, ma'am.
Now where is the opponent's king? We are playing white. Okay, I'll quickly tell. Opponent is here, so you have to locate it first correctly. Okay, எப்பவுமே opponent correctly locate பண்ணனும் because that is the target. Okay, now let's look at our pieces. We have a queen, and this queen right now is controlling all these squares, and we have a king. King these three squares. So even if we move the queen away, we don't lose control on these three squares. The king cannot move to the 7th rank because this king is controlling. So you have to take that as a note. Okay, so நம்ம வந்து queen வந்து வேற எங்கயாவது மூவ் பண்ணாலும் பண்ண மாட்டோம். ஏன்னா கிங்கும் கண்ட்ரோல் பண்றது அந்த ஸ்கொயர்ஸ். Okay, so and then we have a pawn here which is controlling these two squares. Okay, so now these three squares are controlled, these two squares are controlled. Since we are controlling, cannot come to these 5 squares. Okay, now this square, and this square. Okay, so now how do you give a check, Shanvika, here?
Yes, ma'am.
So you have to give a check. King should not escape here. King should not escape here. King should not escape here. These three squares, king should not escape. So how do we give a check?
Queen.
So queen எப்படி போகும்? How does a queen move? It moves like a rook. It also acts like a bishop. So where should you place the queen so that it controls all these three squares?
Queen to B6.
Queen to D6. Queen cannot go to D6. இங்க இருக்கு B7ல இருக்கு. It doesn't go like a knight. So
No,
D6 is not
B6.
possible. B6. அப்ப B6ல queen போச்சுனா இந்த square control ஆகுமா? If the queen goes to B6, can the queen control this square? It will only control in the 6th. Can escape here. Pawn doesn't control the square. So the king can escape here. So that is not the answer. That is just a check and the game will continue. It is not a checkmate. How else can you give a check? இந்த ஸ்கொயரும் கண்ட்ரோல் பண்ணனும், இந்த ரெண்டு ஸ்கொயரையும் கண்ட்ரோல் பண்ணனும். So where do we put the from where? Okay, so Shanvika just reply. From where the queen can control this square? It has to give check to the king and also control this square. இப்படி control பண்ணனும். It is possible. From which square it is possible? நீயே யோசி, don't get help. You think on your own. கிங்குக்கு செக்கும் இருக்கணும், இந்த ஸ்கொயரும் கண்ட்ரோல் பண்ணணும்னா இது ஸ்ட்ரெயிட் டவுன்வர்ட் டைரக்ஷன். கரெக்டா? ஃபர்ஸ்ட் யூ அண்டர்ஸ்டாண்ட் த டைரக்ஷன். இட் இஸ் a downward direction. அப்ப குயினை எங்க போட்டா டவுன்வர்டா வந்து செக் கொடுக்கும்? I was telling her this is because there will be a check to the king and also this square has to be controlled. So where should you put the king so that the check is downward like this? Easy தானே, நான் most of the answers சொல்லிட்டேன். Now you think. எங்க குயினை போடுவ? ஷான்விகா, டவுன்னா என்னது தமிழ்ல?
கீழே.
கீழே. சோ அப்ப வந்து எப்படி நீ செக் கொடுக்கணும்? மேல இருந்து கீழே செக் கொடுக்கணும்னா எப்படி பண்ணுவ? எந்த இடத்துல குயினை போடுவ?
Queen to G7.
So what happened here? There is a check downward like this. Now can the king escape here? Tell me, Shanvika, can the king escape here?
No.
No. Now can the king escape to this square?
No.
And this square?
No, ma'am.
How does a queen move? No. Queen moves like a rook and a bishop. So it's controlling here, controlling here, controlling here. Now let's check the other squares. This square is taken care by the pawn. So pawn is controlling, it cannot move. Pawn is controlling, king is controlling, king. Now, who's next? Sarah, can you answer this? Yes. Sarah? So the opponent's king is here. Okay. These two squares because our king is controlling. Now he has a rook and we have a queen. Okay. And our queen is controlling this square. So the king cannot move. From here, it is controlling here. If the queen changes the position, then we might lose control here as well. of the square. Okay, so now how do you give a check? Mm.
Yes.
Mm. Very good. Queen to f7, checkmate. Okay, so check, cannot escape to these squares, checkmate. Okay, next side. Sai Charan,
Yes, ma'am.
I hope others are listening. Okay, I want everyone to listen. I'm going to give homeworks today to everyone of you. Okay, so Sai Charan, now position ladka. Next. Okay, now find checkmate in this position. So the first question, opponent's king, he is here. Now he can move this square, he cannot move. These two squares he can freely move. Now where should we give a check so that we control all these?
Two.
Only one he cannot escape. Mm.
E3.
E3 is okay. But he will escape here. He will also escape here because as the queen moves here, you lose control over the square. Only when the queen is in this diagonal, you will not lose control here. So queen and the diagonal விட்டு வெளியில வந்ததுன்னா it roll பண்ணிச்சோ earlier அதை லூஸ் பண்ணிடுவோம் நம்ம. அங்க கிங்கால ஈஸியா சேஃபா மூவ் பண்ண முடியும். சோ அதே டயகனல்ல இருக்கும் வரை தான் அந்த ஸ்கொயரை கண்ட்ரோல் பண்ணுவோம். So how else can you give a check? Right now he can escape to these two squares. So all you have to ask is the basic question. Now I gave a check like this. The king escapes. How does a queen move? Queen moves like a plus sign, which means can I give check? Can I give check in diagonal? Okay, it's very basic things. All that you have to do is to ask questions. Okay, so can I go diagonal and give a check, or can I go straight forward and give a check? Can I go backward and give a check? What will happen if I do that?
E6. E6.
Yes. So what happens when you put the queen on e6?
The king
There is a
cannot
check to the
move
king.
to.
These squares are controlled. Yeah, and now we are maintaining the square. Okay, check. He cannot move. Since it's on the same diagonal, still we are and also controlling other squares. All over this, the first point is there is a check and he cannot escape. Okay, next. Nagulan, did I ask you? Nagulan?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so any doubt here? So I'll give you homework today, and please don't send the answer in the group because I want everyone to try on their own. Okay, I'll give you homework. And Daksha kekalala. So Daksha, okay, Daksha, can you answer this? Here, he cannot move to these two squares. All that you have to do is to give a check. So 7th rankla kingala move panna mudiyadu. And also check the queen is here. Opponent's queen is here. Now you have to give a check in 8th rank. Where will you give a check? Anyways, he cannot move to. How will you give a 8th rank check? Daksha Virkiya? Dakshim, நீ ஆன்சர் எனக்கு அனுப்புறியா? நான் உனக்கு அனுப்புறேன் இந்த பசில். I couldn't hear you. I'll send it to you in WhatsApp. You can answer me there. Okay. Okay. Any doubt, Kavinay? Any doubt?
மேம் அக்டோபர் 25th நான் வந்து எப்படி பேர் என்ன
தோரணம்
தோரணம்